scenarios are just simply who gets the best records coming into that group stage. Keep in mind, IMA are sitting there at 2 wins as well. So we talk about what happened last game, and it was Jensen versus Faker in the mid lane that Faker absolutely destroyed.
But it was very easy for Faker to follow up on that early kill because it all based around like the first gank. The Elise came in, Syndra QE into Flash of Kuna and was over. If Jensen flashes that, we have an entirely different game on our hands. That's why I'm so excited for this rematch because I feel very little was shown in that first matchup. And if Jensen can get more even, or if just Syndra's not in the game, I think we could actually have a very competitive match.
And the change to, having Blank in there this time as opposed to Bengi. Bengi was a huge part of that mid lane tide that went completely in Faker's favor. Not only was he a part of getting the first blood, but also the vision that then exploded around Faker after that allowed him to push Jensen back between his own turrets was insane. And, Bengi just... We always talk about how much more he enables Faker than Blank does. We'll see if, having Blank in there does change things.
And that's the funny thing as we look back at yesterday's games with Samsung Galaxy, where when Core JJ was in, they won all their games. When, they had Wraith playing support, they didn't look really as crisp, and that record kept happening. I kind of feel like SKT's in a similar scenario where Bengi seems like the better fit. However, they do like Blank here. Blank spends a ton of time counter jungling. He's very aggressive. He's somewhat farm focused, but he does spend a lot of time in the enemy jungle. He's got great stats in that regard. But in terms of keeping the lanes afloat, Faker is camped more than any other mid laner, and that can always be a threat.
Man, I'm just so excited to see this pick and ban come out too, because historically SKT is a team that adapts so well from week to week, especially into the later stages of the tournament. And I feel C9 has so much more to show, and they also have so much pressure. They have the home crowd advantage here, but they are the last chance for North America to get a team into the quarterfinals.
Absolutely. C9 do have a lot to show. Their top laner impact has been absolutely incredible over the last couple of months here. He's someone I think that can really open up this game against Duke.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Impact has been huge for the team, but Duke is no slouch either. So, again, I'm definitely super biased, but I always return to the jungle, and I like that you brought that up in the styles of these two junglers, because Blank and Meteos actually have fairly similar styles where they focus very heavily on the reliable small advantages that you can get through the jungle. Trying to steal away one camp, trying to path away and punish the other jungler, whereas some of the other junglers like Karsa that we really highlighted in the previous game spend so much time focusing on ganks. Very curious to see how that will affect the way that the laners in this game play.
Right, it's a stylistic sort of choice. We've heard terms like low risk, medium reward, high efficiency, but you run around and you have very efficient plays. For example, I know Meteos got a lot of flack for not landing Qs on a Faker. He said, oh, that guy's good at dodging skill shots. But Meteos also was tracking Bengi through the game. He stole away a blue buff early on. Like, you're seeing these safe invades that were working out for him.
I constantly have debates with the pro junglers in North America about, is this a meta where you would rather gank a lot early because it's very risky, or is it a meta where you would like to get those small advantages and build them up? And it really just comes down to personal preference, because we look at Carson and say, oh, he's the best jungler in the entire tournament. That's because he's playing the more risky style and the ganks are paying off.
Yeah, that's the variance in jungle pathing. Obviously, it's also a layer of team comp dependency. Certain junglers like Elise also get rewarded for ganking more often. You don't get back into the game as Elise by farming if you're behind. You just got to keep ganking.
Exactly, and it's not the same thing every single game. For junglers, you have to read the opening of the game. How is each different lane doing at that moment? What are the different matchups?
Where can I tax the most?
What information, exactly. What cannon minions are in lane right now? But yeah, honestly, every little bit of information changes the game from a jungler. So from minute one, everything's different.
It's something I want to kind of bring up, because ask yourself at home, sort of coming into a game, be like, which lane would you most like to gank at level 3, right? Ask yourself when you load into any rank game you ever play, like, hey, what's the best lane for me at 3 minutes flat? And if you can answer that, you're like, oh, well, then I should start bottom side so I can reach top lane and be there for that spot. And you have to make that choice at 1 minute 40 seconds.
You should just start your red buff, gank that lane at level 2.
Okay.
Where would I gank at level 3? Let's do it at level 2.
All right. And that's the thing, right? You can literally gank after every single camp you ever do. We've seen junglers end at the bottom side and then run top river for a scuttle just to give vision to their top lane in case there's a gank there, and you have these choices constantly.
Yeah, we're just fixing a few things on stage. We're almost ready, guys, but I just want to get back to that little soundbite from Meteos right there where he's talking about how Faker dodges. it was so apparent on his first appearance as well. When he was playing into a Ziggs, I still remember it so clearly. It's almost as if Faker reads the opponent so well that he knows exactly when the skill shot's going to come out. He doesn't even react to the skill shot. He just knows this guy is so likely to throw a bomb, expect me to go left. He steps right, and he just sidesteps at the same time the skill shots come out, and he just keeps repeating that pattern. It's so satisfying to watch. He's like he's half a step into the future.
The predictive plays from Faker are constant highlights. The other one that jumps out at me, Crepo, more recent than the Zed, was the Riven on Cassiopeia tower dive.
Yeah.
He has so many of these plays where he expects 80% chance my opponent is going to move here or use this spell or do that, and he preempts that move. But yeah, once again, we are waiting for that stage issue. We're not just...
It's the players getting set up, I believe. It's their first game of the day. It's been literally a week since either of these teams have played on this stage, and they're about ready. We've got 3 of the players so far in the lobby, SKT joining up. So we are very close to getting into our second game of the day. I want to move on our conversation a little bit. I know junglers are really fun, but I want to talk about the bottom lane because we haven't talked about them very much yet. And I want to first talk about SKT because last year I thought their AD carry Bang was the best AD carry in the world. Just period. Phenomenal player. Wolf kind of trying to be as good as him. He hasn't been quite as dominant this year. There have been other good AD carry contenders, but also just in looking at C9 versus SKT from last week, Smoothie and Sneaky actually held up against Bang and Wolf very well, and those two matched very closely.
I mean, overall, throughout the world, bot lanes have gotten better at going even in slightly losing matchups. There are very rare times that people pick a big losing matchup these days as well, especially with standard lanes being guaranteed. It's not like you can flip a coin, try and dodge the matchup, and if you then fail, you're ultimately screwed. So that definitely helps. There's still some elements in Smoothie's plays that he has to show up, but he's definitely growing in this tournament, and I think the week 1 stage experience is definitely going to help him in week 2.
Yeah, a couple of things for the bottom lane that you're trying to highlight here. Bang, after week 1, had the second highest KDA of everyone in the tournament. The only one higher was Core JJ, and he only played 1 game, so you kind of throw out the low sample size. The other thing is that Sneaky is the AD carry who's had, quote-unquote, the most efficient damage output as far as the gold that he gets in comparative to the rest of the team. He has the highest damage output per gold spent.
Yeah, or sorry, damage per gold spent. You're absolutely right about that one. But we are now into Champion Select, and we're seeing SKT say, we beat you with Syndra. We don't want to let you play that champion either, Jensen. So 2 mid lane bans are ready for SKT with the Aurelion Soul and Syndra off the table. No Elise for Blank.
We're waiting for the Nidalee ban right now on either side. C9 decides to be the one that bans it out. So a lot of the current power picks really banning out. The Nidalee that's a 100% pick ban. Syndra had 95% pick ban coming into the day. And there's only 2 games, I believe, that she wasn't banned or picked at all. So very many champions that are just so strong in the current meta being targeted, which means we're moving down a tier in Champs League.
Definitely curious as to what the mid lane's going to be, because Jensen's champion pool, to me, has always been just ever so slightly smaller than everyone else's as far as the mid lane goes, and Syndra is definitely a huge part of it. He definitely likes to play huge damage output AP mid laners for the late game for the team, and the Cloud9 likes to funnel so much money into him as well.
But in a slower meta like this, when you can expect the opponents to maybe pick up an early Cassiopeia, the likes of Orianna kind of always slip through once these bans start hitting. It's very decent slow mage here, but the Rise also still open, and very many pros actually have come out that they don't know exactly what the counter is. But if you ever want to find out, pick Rise into Faker.
Wow. And
exactly.
Look at the insta-locks as well that move onto this one. Jhin plus the Zyra, so you assume it's a bottom lane. I think Zyra is technically a flex pick that we haven't seen her mid in a very long time, but this is a scary bottom lane to deal with.
But it explains the Caitlyn ban as well, because the massive range advantage makes it so that Zyra can't play to her strengths, and she gets punished very hard by an EQ combo. So this is definitely a prepared first rotation from SKT.
Such a brutal early duo lane here. Jhin and Zyra is very, very oppressive, and especially the thing we talked about before with both of these junglers concentrating on small advantages rather than ganking early. The surprise that you can bring to that lane to try and crack it open is diminished in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely so. But if you look at how you counter that lane, well, you don't. You don't beat that lane 2v2. But what you can do is cater your other lane picks around punishing 2 static champions like a Jhin and a Zyra in a fight. Kennen can dive in, stun him in the backline and Zonias, and Olaf can ignore every single part of the CC.
Exactly. There's some interesting things about this because you typically want to bring Ignite on Zyra, being a damage-focused bot laner, putting in that little bit of extra punishment to get those kills is pretty valuable. However, we've seen the kind of havoc Kennen can wreak if you don't bring an exhaust, and it might force him onto suboptimal summoner choices in this bottom lane.
And I definitely love that combo. You get Olaf and Kennen.
Yep.
Very great dive partners, because one of the problems with Olaf is if you get the tipping point where the enemy team, obviously they can't land CC on you, but if they can just do enough damage, then you're dead. And he loses so much of the resistances when he pops the ult, and he's facing a very high damage SKT backline right now, and they're all ranged, so if they spread out and they focus him down, could be disastrous.
And SKT, a very complex composition that they've drafted for themselves. Lee Sin is not the standard tank jungler. Jace is not the poppy of the top lanes either, so very low tanks amount rather in SKT, and they still have to pick their mid laner. Unless it's a Jace flex and they end up picking a poppy up later on, they have a very squishy composition.
Yeah, definitely squishy. Is vulnerable to all ins. However, very annoying as well. If they get a lead early and poke you down, then it's going to be very difficult, because Zyra provides a pretty big amount of zone control.
Yeah, if you
held my breath for that one, but it's going to be Alistar.
Yeah, Alistar, really good mid game. If you can get through laning phase, C9 is happy. There are ways to kill the Jhin or the Zyra, but it involves setting up a gank timing. But if you get counter ganked on that engage, you're going to suffer casualties on the back end.
Definitely exciting matchup as far as team comps go right now. We're seeing Cloud9 looking to dive SKT, and SKT looking to shoot them down as they try to do it.
It's going to definitely have the tools to make the dive happen, though. Realm Warp bringing in an Alistar into the backline, a Kennen and Olaf into the backline, very scary. The Ezreal should be able to withstand the scary landing phase of Zyra Jhin, and the final pick comes through. It's going to be Victor in the mid lane for Faker, the wave through to help keep those dives from happening.
But I like what SKT is doing here in a sense that they're not playing tanks, but they do have answers against a very short-range team on C9 that wants to get in there in terms of kite. Both Victor and Zyra can really shut up a team fight and kite out.
Exactly. This game is going to be an arms race. Who's going to get ahead early, because SKT, they have so much damage that they can build. And just focus fire. If you just focus the closest target and burn them down, then they could take out Cloud9 before they charge them. However, that means really important vision control for flanks.
That's going to be a tough one to watch for here. Right now, Wolf has exhaust for himself in the Zyra. We'll see if he keeps it. I expect him to, because I think he needs it for the Kennen with a fully squishy lineup where Magic Resist is not always the easiest things to buy. SKT going to have to deal with Impact, who has had a good world so far. The San Francisco crowd chanting, "Let's go Cloud9," hoping that the final North American team left here at Worlds can make it into the top 8 at Worlds and survive and thrive where Counterlogic Gaming and TSM could not. But they are up against SK Telecom T1, the juggernauts from South Korea, the favorites of the group, the defending world champions. They beat them last week, and Cloud9 now needs vengeance, sitting at 2-1 in the group stage. And here we go with Game 2 of the day.
Yeah, heading on to the Rift right now. Sneaky and Smoothie will have a very rough lane. But to combat some of the bad trading they have, they actually brought Ignite to the laning phase, and Wolf and Bang, while they have a lot of poke, they have to be careful, because a single combo or Q flash from Smoothie, if he does it in a very determined fashion, could be enough.
Exactly, and the Ignite is great for all-ins, since the damage from SKT is all ranged, and the exhaust isn't going to provide that really big impact as
Super
the rest
unreliable.
of them. Exactly, they're going to try and focus it.
So no unreliable exhaust here. C9 running, of course, Ghost on the Olaf as expected. And Zyra, again, a very unsafe support. No shielding to speak of, no blinks, and very low health. And typically you'll see a Zyra run with a lot of ability power, not defensive stats. You're seeing just that flat base 30 magic resist can take a ton of damage in a fight.
Yeah, and if you're unfamiliar with the new Zyra, she now plants or spawns the seeds rather with her passive and can pop her from the get-go. And that is that kind of the change, which makes it very oppressive from level 1 already. Back in the day, Zyra needed access to at least a couple of levels to get that harass pattern out, but she's very oppressive, and she can always prepare the backline so Jhin can finish them off.
Also, it benefits her for staying in the lane more, because the longer you're there, the more you spawn. Don't know if we'll see Smoothie roaming again, but that was huge for Cloud9 in their victory last week, was Smoothie Alistar going top lane super early on.
Yeah, Sneaky can definitely hold his own once he's finished that tier up and then survive in the laning phase.
One thing I find interesting is that Wolf has decided to put all his seeds into the lane. It's actually super easy and painless to take Romp or Krugs with Zyra with all the plants there. You sit there for 40 seconds, spawn like 3 Thorn Spitters, and you don't take any damage, and you miss no XP.
The reason he likely does that is because he doesn't want to give Sneaky and Smoothie the free shove level 1. And that's the counter to double poke lanes, is you just insta-shove the wave, and you try and keep them locked up on a tower to get as many levels as you can early on.
Exactly. Both of the lanes start out in lane here, even though the junglers are on top side.
And we'll see if they can find themselves any action, of course. Again, Wolf can spawn these plants, then finally a good seed spawn comes in, but there's the Pulverize, the Thunder Cow, Smoothie getting some damage in.
Yeah,
there's the Thorn Spitter.
They're trying not to overpush, so you level up on the 9th creep, so 3 more melees remain, and they want to keep the wave as balanced as possible, so when they do hit level 2, Wolf and Bang want to walk up and completely butcher Sneaky and Smoothie in these trades.
Quickly missed Mystic Shot there, and Smoothie gonna last hit one more melee, level 2 coming after 2 more camps, but first Wolf already has the seeds and pushes Sinan off of XP. They will be roughly under the turret by the time they go for this.
Here comes Meteos as well, tracking down on Olaf. 3 camps,
It's gonna be their time. He's gonna find Wolf, and Wolf does not have a root, so the Ghost is in, and Wolf has to dodge this somehow, but a nice undertow. He's gonna go to flash the wall. He should be able to pretty easily.
Blank is gonna be there though.
And that's gonna be the flash force. Meteos grabs the axe, and a nicely timed gank was there in time. He cleared the camp so fast.
And remember, you have to have the confidence to do that. Like, that was a pretty risky chase there, and it's good for Cloud9 that they did get that flash, but Blank was almost there in time to punish Meteos, and that would have been him alone. His duo was so far behind.
Yeah, but it brings so much implied danger right now for Bang and Wolf, because all Meteos has to do is return later through lane, and Smoothie, if he gets into flash range, all he has to do is Q flash, headbutt backwards, and the Zyra's dead.
Absolutely the case, and of course with Zyra, you're going for more offensive masteries. He does not have the reduced flash cooldown. I take it back, he actually does, so different masteries than I was expecting, but it's only the 4-minute flash.
Exactly. Oh, here we go though, re-engage.
Headbutt Pulverize, and here's Sneaky looking for the damage. Ignite is on to Wolf, but they don't quite have the follow-up. It's going to be up to Sneaky to land. Can't get the Mystic Shot. He's going to dodge away. Wolf will stay alive, and a lot of poke back on a Sneaky. He's done a 200.
Man, that was very close to that 4th shot of Jin finishing him off right there. Both sides still have heal. That's when you know these guys have synergy. They're relying on the heal to come out. Not really panicked there from Wolf, but he has to be careful with the combos.
I feel like we're going to have a health bar lead, though, for SKT, unless really can get a lot of heals in pretty soon. Bang at completely full. Wolf just now using his final potion, but if he can stay safe, should be fine. It's usually not too hard to whittle down an Alistar with Zyra.
All right, I think it's time to transition over to the mid lane focus, because that was the big story of the last meetup. They do have an early pink ward there already purchased. Jensen's early back. You know, he went to go get his tier and the extra vision to fend for himself. And he's ready for the rematch with Faker.
Yeah, he's definitely allowed to do that because Ryze has much better push early on than a Victor. Victor, a very weak early laner here, so Faker almost submitting to going even, but if we've seen what Victor can do later on, Crown has showed us that.
Definitely agree, and a lot of that early, pushing power from the new Ryze comes from the new spell flux, and the ability to move it through the minions like you just saw there and spread to the rest while trying to get harassed with it at the same time if Faker stands too close to them. Blank though moves in for some more vision around.
Oh, here's Meteos.
And here comes the play. They're going to land the headbutt Pulverize onto Wolf, who's going to run out of health pretty rapidly. No flash, and who do they give the kill to? It's going to go over to Sneaky. First blood into Cloud9 against SK Telecom T1.
Very close there too. Meteos had big eyes for a double, but Bang not only has flash, there was a ton of minion damage on Sneaky, and he almost went down in a counter kill. First blood though over to C9.
But that was super controlled because they waited until the last moment to give the kill over to Sneaky Router, even though he still has heal available, so that was very calculated. Really good return gang, and honestly, Bang and Wolf are playing too far up without any vision. What a great timing gang for Meteos.
Slow move in here, lands the double axe there, and look at all the minions and plants that they're chasing. That's why they had to make that very quick call to focus. I have to say, both of these bottom plays, very small margin for error though, and it's very important for Cloud9 to get the first step in that arms race that we talked about. Now they have a bit of momentum, but look at the gold. It hasn't even swung that large in C9's favor.
Well, yeah, you look at the fact that it's 51 minions to 33 in the bottom lane. This is an incredibly difficult to deal with bottom lane. SKT, Bang, and Wolf are expected to win this laning phase, denying a lot of minions from Sneaky.
Yeah, and it just tells you what would have happened if Meteos did not get those two really well-timed ganks off. But right now, Blank's in the top lane.
Looking for the play onto Impact, dodging forward. Not quite level 6, but it's going to be Slicing Maelstrom to buy a bit of time. Blank will not successfully tower dive that. He would not get the kill out of the turret, and he'll back off.
Love that choice from Impact to use the ult instead of the flash there to go for the double stun and threaten the turnaround rather than burning the super long cooldown summoner spell.
Yeah, if he sees level 5 jungler enter his lane, he knows he has a little bit room for error. He doesn't have to panic about a kick flash coming out. The fans are definitely in C9's favor here.
It's great. They're excited that there's enough C9 fans that they're winning the vote. It's like, yay, we're together on this one. We believe in Cloud9 together.
One little caveat for the bottom lane to remember too is to try and track how many of the plants are actually going to the CS of Sneaky.
Sure, it can always inflate numbers, which is even more surprising why it's so low for him. There's +5 gold, and it counts as...
Yeah, it definitely counts as CS, so it inflates it. At this point, Bang is actually getting so strong. This is the problem with this lane, especially at level 6. Zyra's very squishy, and you're so prone to kill her, but if you try and kill her on level 6, the turnaround damage that she can produce right before she dies, and the fact that Jhin has Curtain Call means you will die on the later stages of that trade, so you kind of are forced to focus the Jhin.
And now you're seeing where that focus can be. The summoner spells are back up except for the heal of Bang, but Smoothie's flash is down and he's not yet level 6, so a Lee Sin gank could be very fruitful. You've been seeing Blank put a lot of deep wards into Meteos' jungle. He went Tracker's Knife first item and is trying to make sure he knows where this Olaf is going. There's the route on a Sneaky, a trade knock up onto a Wolf. Ulti across, but Lucas with his health bar running dangerously low. They're going to trade back onto Bang the heal so he doesn't get crit down, but Bang is level 6, and here is the curtain call, and here is Faker. The victor is in. He wants this one, and he grabs it. Now it's for Sneaky. Good flash to get away, but it's still a Chaos Storm hitting. The layers are going to come across, and yeah, Sneaky's low.
Meanwhile, mid lane, there is going to be a shove from Jensen, but Blank actually going to chase Sneaky all the way back to the recall position.
Oh, there's the Rise pathing now with Ultimate. Realm Warp is technically available here.
Too.
Meteos looking to zone.
Technically, it's a bit of a 3-on-3, but how much can really be done? A kickback, and Faker had already recalled away. So, Blank's ulti down for the roam. But still, a great kill for SKT, and it's within 500 gold.
And again, Faker, great roam down there because actually Jensen's been doing a good job spending money for his own vision and controlling his own vision while his jungler hasn't been in mid. Here we go for the blue.
This is scary. 2-on-2. The smite fight comes in. Looks like Meteos was able to grab it away, so nicely timed in the steal. It was a bit of a risk, but he comes away with it.
What you want to do with Olaf is always combo your reckless swing true damage with your smite to ensure that you win those smite fights. It also helps that Meteos had the extra level, gain more damage, more true damage on that smite every level.
Also very important is Meteos is prioritizing the actual stats. He's got the Ninja Tabby, the Ruby Crystal, no finish smite out of him just yet, just the raw durability to survive these kinds of encounters. Duke and Impact still trading blows, and it's very, very close. A mostly undisturbed lane, a slight lead to Impact, but he is getting pushed in and has to respect the fact that Duke can leave first.
Yeah, one of the things actually for Cloud9, we looked up the stats as to where Meteos was going. Impact has one of the lowest team jungler proximities, but might get some friends now.
Looking for the play. Can he get the ulti on the Duke? Yeah, he's not going to get the stun. A great play out of Duke. Gets the thundering blow. But look at this. The flash, the headbutt pulverize. Here comes the dive. Do they have the damage? Of course they do. Cloud9, 2-1 it kills.
And just as you expected, Kobe, C9 is playing through their strengths. They peel away the Alistar from bot lane, unlock him onto the map, combine him with Meteos. They roam top. They get Duke's flash and kill him.
Just like you talked about as well, Ezreal sitting bottom lane, just farming from afar. Zyra trying to be there so she can spawn more. Oh, well, here we go again with the replay.
This is the replay.
It was such a good knockback into Flash to also get that distance.
Yeah, that was perfectly played from Duke because you usually expect double tick plus W to really finish off into a stun. But the Flash came out. He didn't expect the Alistar roam there, and the C9 on the proactive play right here. Definitely using that map control. They didn't lose bot tower either, so really well played from the North American team.
I want to talk about some of the specifics of that smoothly roam because Jhin Zyra is not the most punishing 2v1. Not only is Ezreal probably the single safest AD carry in a 1v2, but you have no real tower dive threat with Jhin Zyra. You have poke and that's it, and Sneaky able to play reasonably safe until the support comes back.
Problem is you don't have any prompter for the Jhin W. We see Jensen walk up the Faker here, but there's at least
Oh, almost getting stunned, and it's going to be Blank looking to get in the range. Problem is, he queued before looking for the ward hop, missed the skill shot.
Ooh, yeah, the crowd loves those Ryze trades. It is very impressive, too, with Ryze. When you build up both of the runes and then use the extra overload for this. Oh, bottom, though.
Ooh, no, it's just going to be nice flash away from Wolf. Gets away with it entirely. The root on a smoothie does have unbreakable if he needs, but just walks away with the trade.
And this is something we're not used to seeing from SKT. They're playing on a knife's edge here. Zyra's support opting in to not finish Sidestone, instead upgrading to Frostfang already. The lack of vision is really being punished by Meteos. Meteos is honestly out-jungling Blank in this 1v1 duel.
Yeah, it's definitely been razor thin here from Cloud9, but the Cloud9 planning and the execution on that plan coming into this game has been really, really strong. This bottom focus required so much commitment. Both solo laners have to do their own vision, have to dodge their own ganks.
Yeah, the fact that you have such a sturdy rock in the top lane in Impact who could always play on an island allows you to pick a weak bot lane that you then fix with jungle attention.
Never underestimate SKT though. Blank still yet to make a super impactful move. Freak, you talked about the wards that he's been trying to get down. They haven't been paying dividends.
Not really. You've got Meteos with 2 assists already in this game. He's got more farm than his opposing jungler as well, but even still, this game is remaining close. Only 700 gold apart, and Faker fighting for these wards even still. You saw Blink looking for the slink in the side. Meteos going to walk into a 1v2, fighting for his own jungle, but it's actually going to be a turnaround as Jensen's joining as well. The burst damage, what a flash by Faker, getting out of range for now, and it's Blank who's alone. Smoothie going to land the combo into the burst, and Jensen finally gets revenge on Faker.
And again, Smoothie peels off the bot lane, roams up and assists his team with yet another combo.
Cloud9 bottom lane, such a huge asset in this game. The flexibility of the Ezreal Alistar really showing up.
And the chain of events, it goes all the way back to the early game. C9 have a rough bot lane. Meteos helps them early. Wolf ups into damage, no vision. He gets put into Fog of War, and now they have to run away because they're in a dark, dangerous corner, and C9 is playing the map.
The darkness has consumed them. This turret going to be a bit surrounded. Meteos helped to make sure this can take damage, but there's not enough real threat on the dive. Jensen went back to the mid lane, and SKT will keep their bottom lane turret for now.
All right, let's take another look at that play as Meteos lying in wait. The invade from Blank and Faker. Communication here with Jensen. Flashes in for the combo, but on the edge of the gravity field. Good job there. There's no room for him to go, though, as you said. Smoothie.
But it's pre-planned, because look how quick Smoothie is here. That means the second Meteos saw 1 or 2 people, he's like, I'm going to go in for the aggressive play. Many Olaf players would go for the axe disengage there, but he knows Jensen is actually close enough to influence that fight, and he just hard commits.
The advantage there of defensive vision. Good punish from Cloud9, but SKT look to get something back for themselves and take away that blue from Jensen.
Yeah, it was aggressive itemization from both supports. You mentioned the Frostfang out of Wolf, but it was also the Moby Boots rush from Smoothie without the Sightstone either. Gets there so fast, plus a Cloud Drake. It's North America's favorite, man. They get there so fast and make these runs happen.
The Moby Boots on Zyra also are going to be, it's very risky for him, but you have to say, if he ever gets caught out, he's probably going to die anyways. Impact's ultimate can probably take him down to 20% health just by standing near him.
Zyra doesn't want to move around in fights anyways. It's all about the quick disengage and die and use your damage. The Moby Boots are just so necessary because supports have to be all over the map right now, and C9 just understood it much quicker here. Noticing that it's a team play, it's how you divide your chess pieces on the board. You're not stuck in these lanes that you're assigned at the start of the game.
Look how fast Meteos is, honestly. That move speed is a little bit, like, legitimately, he's super quick. He went Boots 2 first item, Cloud Drake first Drake. He runs around with a ton of move speed. 431, just running around without any other buffs on him. He can get to any fight he needs to be.
3 members of Cloud9 focusing on mid right now, but SKT actually have defensive vision this time, and they're going to smell this play.
Yeah, but look at Sneaky. He's not really dropping more down to CS hole because Zyra can actually reach Sneaky and force him to get hit, which means there's no threat of a Jin W, which means it's very easy for Ezreal to farm in lane.
And the other thing about the Zyra support, yeah, there's plenty of lane presence there if you're fighting 2-on-2. However, there's no sustain. So Bang, who would, if Sneaky's by himself like that, sometimes stand in front of the low health minions to block Mystic shots. It doesn't want to give up that health. There's no sustain in the lane, and Sneaky's been able to find all the CS.
Honestly, a much better game for C9. If we go back a week, Jensen had already died 3 times by now. There was a synergy in the mid lane. Blank and Faker are not on the same page. They had a couple of options, but honestly, the duo of Meteos and Jensen have outplayed them.
Even so, SKT not far behind at all and should never be underestimated. They are so good at the mid game. Faker still very, very much relevant factor here as he just now upgrades the core to perfect.
And that's the thing, is you talk about the mid game of SKT, not only is the team just as players good at the mid game, their champions are as well. They all want about 2 items, then kind of go ham on their opponents. We might see SKT turn it on very, very soon, and it could be to the detriment of Cloud9.
Yeah, Victor that gets access to 10 CS per minute is very dangerous, especially if SKT ideally get access to objectives first. Imagine them when they can fend off the Dragon Arrow, you know, defend people from face checking, the Zyra, the Victor, the J-Spoke. That's exactly the things SKT is looking for, and that's why C9 are playing such a rampant roaming style here to shut that down in the infancy of the play.
And why this game is full of constant excitement. Oh, here we go, though.
For it now, and they're not quite in range of Faker, and undertow just means he walks away from it, but a nice attempt.
Yeah, but all of the damage here from SKT being built up, and most of them range, just the possibility for them to focus fire a target down if they catch you out or whittle you down under the turret is very real.
It's really good by Duke. He's been constantly pushing in impact. He's not really ever been under threat from meteors until maybe right now, but the turret loses about a third of its health, and Impact is constantly chunked down under his turret.
Yeah, but C9 is definitely covering their weaknesses. We had Meteos cover the early bot lane weakness. Now he's showing up to hover over top lane. Jensen, as they like him in America, was hovering in that top lane too, and now he re-engaged in the bot lane.
Pulverized damage focused mostly onto Wolf, down to 300 HP, gets the Ring of Thorns out. C9 backs right away, but Smoothie did lose his ultimate for that play. And of course, Bang still has the curtain call. Smoothie will have to let it get blocked by Sneaky if they go for the play.
It is pretty risky. I mean, that's one of the things with Alistar versus the high damage double snare dual lane. I almost always pop the ultimate as soon as you engage, because you know you're going to take damage as soon as you try and run away from that if you don't get the kill.
Honestly, right there, it was well played by both sides. You either blow him up immediately or you disengage right after the initial combo, and then you go into double phases. A little bit of a cancel here from Faker coming out. Also need to keep track of the mana there. Bang actually ran very low on mana in that play, so sometimes Jin players forget about that. They want to open up the curtain call.
Yep. Always a consideration, especially if you're not going for the Exclusive build, which gives you the mana refuel. If you're going for the Armor Gun build, you can run out going for this. Now the attempt at the Infernal Drake by SK Telecom. T1 Sneaky looks for the steal. Not going to get it. Well played there by Blank to secure it. And that is an Infernal Drake to SKT.
And this is a result from SKT still playing aggressive lanes. Like, we talk about how C9 is fighting back, but they have the Zyra push in the bot lane. Victor is coming into his element in the mid lane, and they have pressure in the top lane continuously. 3 pushing lanes is very hard to play against.
And the constant vision that Blank's been putting in over and over and over again, replenishing the wards around Dragon, they're finally rewarded for that. And the Infernal is definitely the perfect one. We keep talking about how much damage SKT have with this comp. They're all building damage here.
They are all building damage items, and Blank smartly identifies he's playing with Zyra support, goes for the Aegis. We've seen players make that mistake before, but he is going to have the right itemization to help keep his team afloat against the magic damage of Impact and Jensen. The question is, how high can that damage be? The farm numbers, not bad for these players, absolutely. Jensen will be the first one to crest 200 minions.
Yeah, we can see maybe the next breaking point of C9 may be that bot lane tier 1 tower. If we take a quick look over at the river, there's 2 pink wards already. Faker, the longer this game goes on, has been playing farther up into the mid lane. They've actually chosen to invade the left side of the map here, leaning on the top push as well. Yep. Duke came down immediately, and that's a blue buff contest here. This is a style TSM showed us a lot during the regular season, just the aggressive contestation of objectives.
Rise,
really a great steal.
Rise ult is available, but Meteos unable to chase them down as they exit the jungle. Successful blue steal for SKT, and this game is close.
And the re-engage onto Wolf, plenty of damage, a great flash to dodge it. Sneaky's got to be careful, he's taking way too much damage, and he's going to lose his life on this one, but we're still going to have some re-engages. Wolf has been killed off as well. It's 4-2 overall in this one. Bang now forced to run away as, again, Impact had gotten one with his teleport.
Good flash right there, and that means that SKT have 2 pushing lanes on the top side. Duke did not teleport, so the Jace can melt towers. First turret gold is on the table right now. That might be a huge objective to give up for that play. Faker also trying to push up mid.
All right, well, looking at what else could be done here. 20 minutes and 18 seconds into the game. It's some top lane pressure for Blink, looking to make sure everything's going to look good up there. Top lane turret running out of health, and that's going to be Duke easily grabbing that one, knocking it down, feeling good. First turret of the game to SK Telecom T1 means they are up 1,000 gold here.
Yeah, definitely so. And that initial engage, if it was synced up, the combo and the Ezreal ultimate, Wolf would have just likely died. He had a really good flash there right before he got hit, and that kind of turned it around and forced C9 to invest too many resources in the bot side of the map, which meant SKT could capitalize somewhere else.
And the immediate flood of vision in there to the Cloud9 jungle from SKT. They've got pink wards moving up. Let's take another look at the burst, though, here. As Smoothie goes in with the flash play, and Sneaky immediately tries to answer there, but Bang is on the offensive.
And that's honestly Smoothie having a game read. Really great teleport here from Impact, because he almost seemed quicker to that play than Sneaky was. Sneaky took 2 steps before channeling that ultimate, and sadly, that's a difference between that play working and honestly exploding in their face.
Yeah, crucial route why Wolf made the chain CC happen. He could not flash away from any of it, and it was beautifully done on the turnaround to make it a 1-for-1 despite the teleport being used. And of course, Duke got the payment for not teleporting. He got first turret of the game, which is worth more than any single kill anyway is. So really nice SKT coming out ahead with that one. The re-engage towards Meteos doing some damage, and almost gets rooted up again. The re-engage towards Blink. Looks like they might start actually team fighting. True Shot Barrage comes across one. Smoothie should be okay with this one, and not too much more with the curtain call.
Again, though, every time they join here, Cloud9 trying to pull down all members, Jace, Duke up top is grinding away on the pressure. He took so long whittling down that top turret, immediately takes the objective after Impact teleports down, and now he's all the way up at number 2, trying to get vision.
Trade into the mid lane. Jensen running out of health. He's nearly going to get burned down on this one. Does manage to walk away, trading Ghost for the ultimate, essentially. Meteos now under the turret. Duke not going to land the shock blast.
Yeah, this is a crucial phase of the game right here. So much of this game so far has relied on vision, and because there is that teleport advantage in the top lane, it's so hard for C9 to fight back aggressively, because at any point, Duke can join anywhere on the map.
Exactly, and remember the vision point that we talked about in Champ Select, where SKT have so much damage, but they have to worry about flanks. They've done such a good job of ensuring that Cloud9 can't get super deep vision to get behind them and surprise them. SKT want to use this overpowering range damage to just pressure Cloud9 at these outer turrets. There's still 2 left up that SKT will return to.
And the way out for C9 will be one of those Realm Warps. Remember, you can use that Rise ultimate and not take it yourself. You can build it for your teammates, surprise them with a cannon from behind. Meteos on that Olaf maybe coming from behind. If they can time that once Smoothie gets his flash back up, that's the way back in for C9 here.
Super important to keep track of those flashes. Impact has the Protobell and his flash, so him and Smoothie are the key summoner spells, and those are the big weapons in that armor's race.
It's actually an interesting mechanic I just saw Jensen using when finishing off the wave. When it was running out, instead of just doing the Spell Flux and Overload to clear the wave at the end when it got low, he did Spell Flux and a Spell Flux to charge the runes that if he was getting ganked, his Q just immediately gives him a shield and the haste buff. And he's kind of priming that rune constantly to make sure he's always available to get out from dire circumstances.
Yeah, C9 a bit more comfortable right now with the Owls. They're having flash up. Again, they're always moving grouped here because they don't want to die and eat the poke while they're contesting for the vision. Both these teams seem very set on at least having a scuffle for the next dragon.
And you can see C9 trying to get the vision up. The sweepers back and forth. Wolf kills away some of the wards, and Smoothie actually can't contest Blink to kill the others. So it's just really that pink ward on the side that's giving C9 control. SKT just walk in and say, no, this is our territory. We are really the kings of Summoner's Rift. Cloud9, you're just visiting us. And SKT locking down most of the vision here. Faker killing a pink ward away, and SKT really have secured the vision of this Drake.
Honestly, yeah, it is SKT's Rift, and Cloud9 even bringing a couple of SKT costumes with the double skins. They know it. Respect paid to the champions.
Yeah, there's the root, plenty of damage. Meteos, down to 80%.
I think he's happy with that.
Yeah, he's tanky, he's Olaf. It's not the worst thing in the world. Gonna look for the scuttle control, and actually that's a pretty big deal with how much better SKT have been warding. That scuttle cannot be removed for a minute.
Also, really need to note the Spirit Visage on Meteos. Increased healing for Olaf. He already has a tremendous amount, but with Olaf plus the Alistar, he can soak up a lot of the poke here.
Bang is on the wrong side of this one. He's gonna flash over the wall. And that is a flash for a Realm Warp. Well played on that one, and it means control of the bottom turret, actually. That's a nice rotation by C9. They got control of the river back. They got a turret to tie up the gold a little bit, but Faker is alone in the mid lane and could easily kill one back for SKT.
Yeah, this is SKT kind of letting C9 take the first punch, dodging, and then giving them an uppercut, because the continuous pressure in the top lane from Duke onto Impact is forcing C9's hand.
They still have to worry about the flanks, though. We talked about this. They're around the back. Impact does have teleport. He's going back to base right now, and C9 are actually threatening to flank.
Sneaky nearly got rooted. That could have been a death if that were a little bit more to the right from Wolf. Now looking for a bit of a play. Meteos in the back line looking for Bang, who does not have a flash, but he's running out of health. The Alistar Pulverize not doing a ton of damage right now, as Duke is pretty safe to land the poke. A root on a Smoothie, and Sneaky down to 1/3. Meteos almost dead, and here's the curtain call, and it could be just that for C9. Looking for the damage. They picked up one already. Can they get more? A quick knock-up on a Jensen. The chase down for Duke, and he's got a flash back out with the Hexbreaker pop. Now Impact wants in, but be careful. Faker's looking for you with the old teammate losing a lot of HP.
Yeah, we saw Kron do it before. Victor actually really potent against these cannon flanks, because there is one weakness to cannon. He doesn't have that much health if he builds aggressively, and Victor with the QE as he walks in, extremely punishing.
Especially a cannon who builds against a physical damage dealer. No magic resist to survive that.
Cloud9 still playing on that Razor's Edge. They try and contest the Dragon.
Jumps forward onto Faker, a little bit of damage there, looking for the root back on a Sneaky. They find Jensen, and that's going to be a deletion, but it's going to be one back in the mix as the top laner's down. Sneaky cannot quite kill one off. Looks like the Q can't get it. 2 for 1 so far in favor of SKT, but Meteos is here to rejoin with Sneaky. The flash engaged by Faker, forcing the flash away from Sneaky. A trade of summoners, but a health bar lead for SKT.
And it's both Faker and Bang out of mana here, so they trade an extra kill for the Dragon being kept alive. And honestly, C9 trying to stay in the game, not giving up too many objectives against his SKT lineup.
If we rewind all the way to the first engage, though, that Razor's Edge from Cloud9, they were not as coordinated as they need to be in those flanks. Meteos and Smoothie pretty far ahead of the rest of the team, and if the front line is taking damage for 1 second without the rest of the team, then it costs them a lot.
And that's the turning tides of this game. C9 started out very proactive, timing Meteos to help them with their weaknesses in the bot lane, later in the top lane. Right now, they're playing a very reactive game here to what SKT is doing. Yes, they made the first move in the map, but that was in reaction to all the top pressure. The fact that the first axe didn't connect and left Smoothie outside means there's no damage to follow up on the tanking being done by Meteos.
Maybe some miscommunication that they didn't have Ryze ultimate available, because Sneaky was with Jensen, but that ability not up, and then the punish here from Bang with the Jhin ult.
Impact wasn't doing much of this fight, honestly. The teleport, I had trouble finding out where it even came in from, because it looked like that was C9 looking for a fight with nothing being done.
But if you have C9's composition and you opt into a fight and you have to use your Alistar flash defensively, you know there was an error in communication. But there's more action in the top lane right now as Jensen's getting circled. Lee Sin, the bottom of your screen.
Gonna look for the kick into the wall. Oh, a nice rune prison to buy some time. Jensen playing that well. Now, can he juke the skill shot? That's 1. That's 2, and it doesn't matter anymore. Nicely played by Jensen, and all that pressure gives C9 the numbers lead in the mid lane. Faker respects the chance at a dive, and Cloud9 are able to tie up the turret score. The gold's still 1,500 down.
Meanwhile, Impact down bottom lane, trying to clean up these minions and protect that turret. He does have ultimate available.
There was a faint move from Sneaky down to the bottom lane, looking to maybe collapse on the Duke. Honestly, doesn't want to walk into Fog of War. Engage here, triple kick!
Knocks up 2, they caught out Sneaky, and he's got the damage. Faker gets the shutdown. Well played by SKT Jungle. This started out now. Smoothie gonna run out of Unbreakable Will. He will be broken, picked off Blank, getting his 3rd kill of the game, an immaculate engage.
And that's SKT being aware that there is no teleport on the cannon from C9, and honestly a beautiful opportunity. Not many Lee Sin players that would have went for that triple kick because it wasn't kicking anybody in their team, but they basically took the bowling approach.
And you don't get too many mistakes like that. This is the breaking point. Cloud9 trying to contest the Baron.
3 versus 5 Baron, definitely doing plenty of damage. SKT not high on tanks. Blank is low. The Undertow gives vision. They know about how much threat there is right here in this one. 4,000 health on the Baron. Will C9 go for the play? The question is when they want to go in. Realm Warp looking for the chance at a steal, but it's not going to be in time. Great secure there by Blank, and it's Meteos left alone inside the pit. Not going to get anything done. That's 3 kills in a row, plus the Baron for SKT.
What a creative solution by C9. If they got Meteos in just a little bit earlier, that could have actually been the steal of the century. Zyra and Vic are so good at keeping people out, either by zone control in terms of crowd control or just sheer amount of damage. I don't think they were actually ready for a Realm Warp Olaf into the pit.
Definitely a good attempt there from Cloud9, but SKT, with those last 2 plays, take a very commanding victory here, or lead in the game. They've got the Baron buff to help them out with that siege. Man, Blank there does get that triple kick that you guys talked about and scatters Cloud9.
Really beautiful stuff. And just Smoothie, Unbreakable Will lasts a few seconds. Yeah, you die last, but just not enough getting done for him. So nicely played SKT off of Blank, right? And he's the one fighting for a spot. Is it Blank? Is it Bangi? You know, Bangi was in when they beat C9 last time. Is that really the right choice for them? But that was a big game-winning style play for Blank. They were winning by a little bit SKT, but the double kill into the Baron that he secured himself, really huge. Flash engage onto Bang. Goodbye. Nicely set up Smoothie. And Impact making it happen. But guess what? Baker is still here. You might kill one of the carries, but SKT's got 2 more.
What about the other one there? Jason, the mid lane. Meteos is after him.
How much can Duke do to get out? As soon as that Ragnarok ends, it's going to be the Thundering Blow to get rid of him. Bop, down he goes, but the slow is still in for Sneaky. 1 more hit, he'll do it, pops it, and there we go, a kill picked up. So 2 kills for C9, but still SKT had gotten the turret. C9 needs so much more. They're down over 4,000 gold in this one.
But they stopped the setup here before SKT can actually start the siege here. C9 killing that play in its infancy again, taking a book or a page out of Fnatic's book.
Exactly, it's so important to break the siege that SKT were about to pull with all the damage. Smoothly goes in.
Headbutt pulverized, pop seal to stay alive, Stranglethorns to stuns, knocking him up, knocking him around, but he's okay for now. The turret will fall, but the kickback, sneaky arcane shifts in time to knock it completely eviscerated. That was a clutch play. Has to flash away from the root that Wolf comes to set up. He flashed for that one out, and looks like that C9 able to convert that kill into the turret while Duke was dead, run away successfully, and bandage up their wounds.
Yeah, looking at the top right of your screen, an 1800 gold Baron power play rather is not high at all because it includes the 1500 you get initially from the Baron here. So C9 trading very evenly against a much stronger opponent, so they're clawing back into the game.
It even counts the kill they got on Mutus when he tried to steal it, so a lot gained here as we watch the replay of that bot lane.
Right, this is the counter play here from Cloud9. Impact waits in the bush. He's rewarded as Smoothie goes in. Then the mid lane, same thing. Cloud9 charged down the Jace as Meteos. Very patient with his undertows. Watch how he holds it as Duke is trying to zigzag. He's getting a feel for the movements here of Duke, and Duke held the same pattern there. Meteos able to land that one.
And that's one of the favorite things in the world to do in League of Legends is watching people juke themselves to death. The threat of the skill shot far greater than the skill shot itself.
Yeah, exactly. You should do that all the time on a Mumu when people are trying to dodge your bandage. Just walk up until you're in ult range. Nice dancing.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And of course, you know that as soon as Ezreal's in range, the Iceborne Gauntlet converts the slow as well. So we're now 33 minutes in, but it's a 4,000 gold lead. SK Telecom T1, the favorites of the group, still holding a lead against Cloud9, but C9 and the rest of North America hoping this can be turned around.
And SKT seem okay with not really committing for the Dragon Vision because the nature of their composition is relatively slow in the setup. No fight comes from this. We can finish the point. Because they're so good at defending an area that's already warded, they're actually staying around the top side of the map, keeping that Baron Vision under lockdown. C9 is opting for the Dragon here, but we see a bit of a fight.
Chance at a siege. Smoothie has to pop the ulti pretty early on, gets the headbutt on a blank, saves the pulverize for later, lands it here. The kickback on the support, but it'll be a trade of jungle for support. No! Blank gets out, beautifully done, secures one kill. Now, how's the re-engage gonna look? True Shot Barrage gets very little damage across. They're waiting for Impact to join from the far backside, but it just doesn't mean enough. It's Blank once again getting SKT a kill and control the map.
And again, it's these team plays. Whoa, Cloud9 going after Bang though, not gonna get in range. It's the team plays from SKT. This is again, a time where they see Cloud9 spread out. Impact didn't have teleport, SKT tracking the cooldown and they pounce.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you use your abilities a little bit inefficiently, if it's in a numbers advantage. 5v4, SKT make the play, but C9, honestly, Smoothie played that very well. He delayed the flank kick from Blank, that held his pulverize and at least forced SKT to take it slow, and C9 get a Dragon on the back end.
Really nicely done. Yeah, just forcing the movements, and good to have some clutch shot calling where in a 4v5, yes, we'll re-engage. 4v5, okay, we have 10 seconds to kill the Drake, and these are good plays by C9. Just SKT or that Juggernaut that will not say die, up 5,000 gold.
Here they are looking for a flank again. Smoothie from the top side, seen on a ward, Impact as well. So, I don't know, they're make the call to go anyway.
Looking for the play, they get a stun. Faker is low, but actually the Proto Belt misses a nice kickback. Looking for the re-engages. Jensen can't get it though, he can be killed off. Faker and Blank looking for the damage, can't quite find it either. Both mid laners chunked out, a nice shot from Duke. Blank nearly lands the Q as well, and a disengage.
And for the second time this game, we see a communication error on the side of C9. They need to help each other right now as a team, and they will survive this.
Got one around the side, but all is well, and Jensen's gonna get back to his side of the map, looking to clear some minion waves away.
But you could see as the Ken came over the wall with the Flash ultimate, Smoothie did not decide to use his ultimate to break the Zyra snare right there, to join this fight from the left flank there, so he kind of fell apart. Yeah, I think he had it. I was looking at the screen and it seemed like he had it at least. Okay. Double flank opportunity was there for the Alistar and Kennen. Decided not to opt in there.
It's always going to be a tight race, though. You know this damage is going to be explosive. Fairly large numbers of squishies on both sides. Once again, the fight for the red buff grabbed securely. Nicely done. No big problems here. So far, SKT continuing their stranglehold on Summoner's Rift as best they can do it. Up 2 kills, 36 minutes in. SKT would advance, improve, I should say, to 3-1 if they can win this game with only 2 opponents left. They'd almost be guaranteed a spot in the quarterfinals.
And again, the percentage of time where SKT have had vision control is huge for this game. Cloud9 have constantly been trying to combat the extra information that SKT have. Slowly taking its toll. The split push also still working for Duke there on Jace.
So again, it's just the trade back and forth. C9 doing what they can with a 5,000 to 6,000 gold deficit, clawing what vision they can. The fact they've gotten a couple of Drakes speaks to how well they are playing from behind. You do have to compliment the fact that Cloud9 are holding up against a winning SKT, but make no mistake that SK Telecom T1 have had great plays coming out of Blank, and Faker has so much damage to the death cap done, only one more item to go.
And they're holding up, but you see some of the weaknesses of the C9 draft in terms of range. An aspect very often overlooked. But Jensen's only done 7,000 damage to champions. Smoothie himself has done 5,000. Compare that to Faker's 25,000 overall. He's having such a hard time here, Danish mid laner, to actually get into the fights and make an impact, because there is so much damage threat and reaction onto SKT. Every time he steps in, there is just the punish in the choke points.
Yep, a battle of a lot of poke. You see Meteos right there forced to burn his own ultimate to get away from this encounter. Just the 10 CDR, really all he gets to keep himself up in this one. Looks like we have the re-engage towards the mid lane here, putting what damage they can. The laser coming across, and the curtain call putting a couple of hits in, and Meteos starting to run out of health here in this one. Guardian Angel is up, but now Smoothie also about to be chunked out here. This is several health bars missing for C9, and the Ocean Drakes won't kick in fast enough to really feel that good for Smoothie. 5,500 gold puts C9 into a hole here, looking back up at the mid lane. True Shot Barrage to reveal some of what SKT was waiting to do. C9 knows they're not on Baron just yet, but still waiting to come around the side. Ocean Drake putting Smoothie back up to half HP, and he has his ultimate, so the re-engage could work okay for Cloud9. SKT bunched up, and we still have the ulti available for that cannon. The Slicing Maelstrom can instantly win a team fight if Wolf can't land the exhaust in time. A trade back and forth with skill shots.
Cloud9 are trying to keep pressure here on the mid lane so that SKT can't continue to bait this Baron. If they keep shoving up the minion wave and threatening that mid inhibitor turret, then SKT have to respect it, and they're doing just that, lining this river with traps and plants.
Plan's going to time out for now, but it's still SKT who control the wards on this part of the map right here, looking to get whatever they can to take this one home. This late in the game, 40 minutes in almost, the death timers are long enough that I think SKT with a clean ace just kills the Cloud9 Nexus. C9 have, I feel like, just a bit more to work through and a bit less damage to kill the buildings with it. And they don't have that same luxury here based on the gold differences between these two teams. But again, we have the standoff continuing, the minion waves being cleared out, the Baron was not secured, C9 played around the vision deficit well enough to stay alive.
And we're seeing the constant struggle between the Infernal Drake extra damage poke team and the double Ocean soak from the front line of Cloud9, allowing them to stay up in that mid lane. This is so touch and go. We've been talking about this Razor's Edge the entire game, and it feels like we've been standing on it the entire game, even though SKT, their gold lead, very impressive at the moment.
But both teams can slip, especially in the late game when all these flashes are available here. We had very chaotic, fast-paced fights earlier in the game here, but with flash up on Kennen, flash up on Alistar, everything is always possible. We saw it yesterday as well. A good Realmar flank, just like Bjergsen did yesterday when he was playing from behind, could completely surprise SKT. Remember, these guys are playing with almost no tanks. You can somewhat classify Lee Sin as a tank here, but there's not that much he can do if they're getting cornered from every angle.
And the thankful thing for Blank's Lee Sin, he's mostly magic resist focused, which actually works very well for him up against this Rise from Jensen, the one who's been hitting him more often than not. He's just withstanding all the punishment coming through. Finally, Void Staff is in for Rise to make that a little bit nicer, but still, seeing what else can happen here. Tons of attack damage here. Duke's got the Bloodthirster. He's got just huge completed items. One last MR spot to go for him. You even got the crit coming through for Bang now, looking for even more punishment out of those shots.
I think that SKT need to keep this pressure up. They've got this gold lead. They need to make it work for them. Jace can do so much work on a turret. He's so much damage, and the teleport is there as well, ready to rejoin the rest of the team.
Honestly, that's what they've been doing the entire game here, putting that Jace in the bottom lane, using that pressure point to force rash decisions out of the C9 team here. C9 desperately looking for an answer, and when your answer is that obvious, when it is a Kennen flash all in rather, and when it is an Alistar looking for the combo, it is very easy to spot for SKT as well, and it's that kind of dance that SKT is winning right now.
And it's not even just spotting it, they've got so many actors to deal with it. The Thundering Blow from the Jace top lane for Duke. Faker himself just zoning out with raw damage in the gravity field. You've got Wolf with the root, you've got Blank with the ultimate kickback as well. There's a lot of tools to eject impact from these team fights.
Plus, the late game damage from SKT does not fall off, whereas Olaf is very difficult to use in the late game team fights as well. We talk about comparing the junglers.
Seeing a bit of it here, Smoothie has to pop the ulti and flash to keep himself alive. Gonna lose a lot of his health bar here, shielding himself, and ooh, that final shot still comes through with the ulti on, so it won't be a kill picked up. The poke from Duke not quite gonna kill him off either.
That's a huge victory for SKT, though, to remove the threat of the flash from Alistar and the ultimate from Smoothie. Very, very big, and it should encourage them to get more.
Looking for a bit more. It's Meteos. We've seen this before. Him in that same spot have to pop the ult to get away, and it's more and more cooldowns missing from Cloud9. Now the Baron started.
And C9 being punished for entering through choke points, but they have to get there. The Baron's with half HP already. 6,000 health remains.
The cooldowns from Meteos gone, the cooldowns from Smoothie Dawn. It's mostly up to Impact now on the Kennen.
Down to the bottom left. Nice slows by Sneaky buying it. Smoothie wants in. 3-man not going to have the damage though. Stranglethorn's going to hit nobody. They find Blank. It's 1 kill already though onto Smoothie. A kill back on a wall. Both supports dead. Duke running away. Picked off, but a double kill for Faker. It's back and forth chaotic, and it's going to be the escape as well for Blank. 2 dead for SKT, 2 dead for Cloud9. A 3-on-3 on the map.
SKT backed themselves in a corner, but they fought their way out. They stayed level-headed and committed to one exit path. Yes, there were casualties along the way. Duke had to drop, Wolf had to drop, but C9, they lost both their flash engagements right there, and they only traded 2 for 2.
Definitely going to be scary moving forward for them. Every extra flash lost is an opportunity. So here, Smoothie, he's going for the engage and immediately tries to disengage because they know the Zyra ult is coming, and they try and get out of the zone.
And then it was really hard for them to win that fight, especially when Faker got a kill there. Yes, there was a top-end kill from Impact right there, but Blank makes it out, doesn't lose any of his life there, especially doesn't lose his GA. Very important because at least Sin with the Guardian Angel will play with extra confidence.
And Blank's been at 5 to 10% health so many times this game and is still at 0 deaths. He has just barely safeguarded out, and that is a big deal. One of the criticisms of Bangi from SKT, their sub-jungler, has been his mechanics aren't always up to snuff, and Blank has navigated situations, these, bowling pin ultimates knocking up 2 other champions with the kickback, and these safeguards at very little amounts of health. Very, very adept plays here from Blank, mechanically working so well, creating the plays and not being a liability himself. Very well played by the SKT jungler.
Remember as well that Faker, the one with a lot of the SKT gold, and pretty much full build Victor here, also is running cleanse for the team fights. It's so important when everybody's burning their flashes and the cooldowns are long. Cleanse very short cooldown and really big in getting him out of that cannon stun to be able to dish out the full damage build that he's got.
And still those 2 objectives on the table here. SKT don't really fancy.
Realm War brings in the Alistar. Can they find the play? Oh, it's huge! They've shut down Faker. Do they get anything else, though? The kill comes back, and Bang does so well. Curtain call plus for the disengage. How well can C9 withstand this? Smoothie's going to lose his life with this shield. He's going to take the final shot. He gives his life to let Jensen run away, it looks like, but that is still a positive trade. SKT with the 2-1, even with Faker dead at the start. Jensen looking for the re-engage. He sees a little bit with Bang, but he's going to lose his life. The root's going to land, and Bang makes the big play. The trade back on the Guardian Angel. Sneaky losing his life as well. It's multiple kills in for SKT, only for the Guardian Angel of Blank. A better played disengage.
Exactly. He's got a Guardian Angel there. He's back up, and Baron is on the table here for SKT.
Ooh, and it started so well with Faker immediately being removed off the map, but then Jensen at the end, he really felt that range disparity between him and the Jhin. Walked up backwards, walked up again, so close to finishing Bang off there, but in the end, they just couldn't quite get the kill, and that means Baron for SKT.
Very well secured. Jensen couldn't contest, and Meteos can't make a 1v4 happen, so nicely down on the back foot of that one. SKT outplaying the end of the engage. We watch this commit.
Realm Warp completely caught us off guard right there. Instant cannon delivery system into combo. Faker and Blank, they were ready to kill whoever came out there, but Gravity Field wasn't ready just in time, and at this point, C9 are looking for disengagement. Smoothie decides to sacrifice himself, and in the end, it was so hard for Jensen to reach anybody in that fight later on.
And he sees the low health bars. They got a bunch of poke on a Duke at the beginning, but he's so far ahead. He's got the Guardian Angel himself, the Maw, shield still coming back up from cooldown now, but yeah, even the damage dealers of SKT are actually reasonably tanky. A lot of magic resist on several of these members.
And SKT now wielding that Baron buff adds a lot of threat to their siege with the constant poke that they can throw out. If they buff up a couple of lanes there with with Baron buff minions, it becomes hard for Cloud9 to really threaten back.
Another curtain call opens up here just for the slow. SKT looking to hunt.
Get a slow onto Impact. That's a 1,000 HP cannon. They get away from the Sonic Wave. Now Meteos once again forced to run out. Has Guardian Angel, not under a incredible amount of threat because of that, but do it again with this one. Now fighting over the Scuttle Crab control as SKT takes that one away. You've got that Drake on ready. It is, of course, the Elder. It's barely, well, very late, I should say, into this game. 6,000 gold, SKT's lead, wearing the Baron buff. They've got to feel good about their chances here in this one. But the Realmers can always turn things around.
They fight always over that vision, trying to land the poke for SKT first.
Good flank for Smoothie, gets spotted though. Faker with the damage force.
Wow.
With ultimate, there's
By
no reaction.
himself, he forces the two biggest cooldowns out of Smoothie.
That's how you counter a pincer. You engage on the weak side, force him back, make sure you don't get close in. SKT very aware of their position and who's surrounding them.
Meanwhile, note the prep work that SKT did. Got the top lane pushing. That huge minion wave of SKT is going to threaten top side of the map, whereas they're bringing Cloud9 over to the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, reminiscent of Blaze's sixth man, as they called it back in the day. The first time teams started using this strategy. Always so important to manage your side waves. The objective gets engaged.
Impact does have teleport though, and they're threatening the Dragon again. Meteos getting caught.
And he's going to run out of HP rapidly. The Guardian Angel might just be popped. Yes, it is. Nicely done by Faker to get that killing blow, sort of as it were. The re-engage. They're not quite going to stun him out, though. But here's the Kurt call, making it painful. Painful as C9 tries to run away. Smoothie going to tank up the shots. Not too big of a concern as Jensen just takes a shock blast, and they're okay with this one. But the Drake can be re-engaged.
At will, and the time bomb in the top lane is still thinking quite peculiar that SKT is actually disengaging right here instead of opting for the commitment, because they poked one low and had another one having to clear the top lane. There is always still the threat of that looming teleport.
There's always the threat, and it's also part of this, I really think, is the double Ocean Drake that C9 managed to acquire. It's a very poke-heavy game. The Zyra plants, the Shock Blast, everything like that. C9 are constantly re-topped off for these little plays, and SKT just used the Baron buff to reset one more time, buy the items, and play for this Elder.
So much damage, they can burn through it as well. Cloud9, really rough for them to try and get back there. I think SKT have this.
They're going to look for it. 2,000 health on this one. Shouldn't be a concern. And it's not. Nicely played. An attempt by Sneaky, but Blank mechanically playing this game so soundly, playing it right. None of these deals come through. Elder Dragon on for 2 minutes.
And unless C9 can predict what objective SKT is going to move to next and then wait in the wings, have them pass by them and then collapse on them, it's going to be so hard to make a flank because SKT is constantly looking for that Alistar on the side, for the Kennen TP wards. Really methodical and slow approach right here.
And that being said, we're approaching 50 minutes in this game. Cloud9 have fought tooth and nail to keep their inhibitor turrets alive. SKT slowly getting so much map control, but what matters is cracking through the inhibitor turret. They do have that true damage burn for a little while longer.
They might just control the southwest portion of the map. Cloud9's base itself. You've got the Elixir of Brilliance now onto Faker. Even more damage coming through with this one. Can chunk down the auto attacks pretty easily. The Elder Dragon, of course, helps quite a bit, and you see them still pushing forward ships onto this bottom turret.
But look at the minimap. Zyra's pathing around, you know, using that sweeper. We had
coming in.
Look for every ward.
Into the jungle. It's going to be the Alistar, the Olaf, looking for the play. Can they get the damage they need? Headbutt pulverize catches only on the Blank. They've already killed off Smoothie. That's not enough here for C9. Sneaky getting caught out. He's in danger. He could go down, and he does. Blank is on a rampage. 2 for 0. Now a double kill for Bang. Make it 3 already. Meteos going to lose it, and Impact is not going to be enough. A single kill doesn't matter enough. Sure, he walks away, but SKT in complete control, looking to close out the game.
Major props to SKT's shot calling there. Their shot calling and the flank awareness is what won them the fight. Wolf single-handedly kept Impact out of the fight, and C9 could not pull the trigger.
Beautifully done. Onto the turrets they go. SK Telecom T1, the defending world champions, move on to 3-1 in the group. They are in the driver's seat, and C9 has to wait another game to get that first win.
The discipline and late game poise of the world champions showing through. And SKT earned their victory here today.
Definitely a well-played game. It was held close. You have to commend Cloud9's ability to defend for so long, but still, that stranglehold was never given up. To play an almost entirely squishy composition, to navigate these Kennen flanks so incredibly well, that requires so much skill.